morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're joining from. I welcome you to the second episode of the Megha Perspective, where we're going to be talking about how to deal with toxic people in our lives. Now, I get a lot of questions asked on how do I deal with toxic people. I know I have them in my life, in all around me. So, what is it that I can do to stop these toxic people from affecting me negatively? So I thought, why not make a whole episode live talking about how to deal with different toxic people in your lives? And during this presentation, I've come up with like small 30-second videos to show you how these toxic people actually behave around you, to kind of give you an understanding that you should be more aware of these people and how they make you do their bidding or how they make you feel. So those videos are only going to be 30 seconds long, and I do hope you enjoy watching them and understanding how these toxic people have started to affect our lives. So without further ado, we are going to get right into today's presentation, and we're going to talk about how to deal with toxic people in our lives. So, give me 1 second. Just going to get this organized a bit. There you go. So, before we begin, I just wanted to give a quick introduction to myself again. My name is Megha, and I'm the founder of Via Coaching. And I am a life coach, a YouTuber, a public speaker. So you can catch a lot of these things on my LinkedIn profile. And, all of those are in the links in the private chat. So if you can go into the chat and see it, then you will find all of those links there. So let's start with who is a toxic person and how would you find toxicity? Now, in my opinion, a toxic person is anyone who creates a conflict within you. And throughout the time that you're with this person, you're going to feel a lot of negativity around you. And it's communicated through different ways depending upon which type of a toxic person you've come across with. So, who are these toxic people, and what are some of the signs that you need to be mindful about? So I'm just going to make the screen a little bit bigger so you can see what are some of the signs that you need to be more careful and watch out for. So when you're with a toxic person, you're going to feel a lack of support. The toxic person will seem around you, but instead of giving you words of encouragement, they're going to give you words of discouragement. And they'll make sure that whatever you're planning to do, that you don't go ahead and do it. Next, you will feel this very strange emotion coming from them, which I like to call envy and jealousy. So, most toxic people in your life are going to showcase this negative emotion in various ways. If they see you succeed at something, maybe they might downplay your success with sarcasm and say, you just got lucky, kind of a thing. Or you can have them feel jealous with all the stuff, all the things that you do, or have friends, whatever it is. You will sense this negativity from this person through the words and body language. Next, you're going to see that they're going to have a lot of controlling behaviors. This type of a person is what I like to call the manipulative person. They're going to manipulate everything around you, every decision you make, everything that you are planning to do. It would feel as if they're dictating this in your life. There will be patterns of disrespect where you will feel that the toxic person is just making you feel low in life and that they are not helping you move forward. You're going to feel constant stress because as soon as you see this person come, your body language would change, your heart rate might increase, you might feel yourself going like panicking. Let's put it that way. You might feel yourself getting into a zone of being aware of your surroundings or not knowing where this person is going to be coming from. And lastly, if you are hoping for change, that means this relationship is definitely toxic. It definitely requires you to sit down and understand if it is worth keeping in your life. Is this person worth having around? Because if you're constantly hoping for that change, then you have to value that relationship for what it is. So these are some of the signs that I feel are relevant in a toxic relationship. Oops, one second. All right. Now, what are some of the toxic people that you can encounter? Well, there are quite a few that you can encounter, and they include your gossipers. These people like to gossip. The temperamental people, these are the individuals who can swing into anger very soon. Then you have the self-absorbed people who are partially narcissistic in personality. Then you have the dementors who suck the energy like right out of the room, and they have so much negativity that even you feel low after they leave. Then you have the envious, and these are people who very subtly are communicating their what do I like to call it, their not they're not satisfied around you, so they're not going to help you succeed. Then you have the manipulators who will manipulate anything and everything, like I just mentioned. And then you have the victim. Now I want to make one thing clear. When I say the victim, I'm talking about individuals who have the victim mindset, and we'll talk about this a little bit later. And they are different from, say, victims of traumatic abuse or other people who've gone through significant trauma in their life. So you have to understand that when I say the victim, I'm talking about somebody who has a victim mindset. So I'm just going to quickly go over into the chat. All right. It's great to see you here, Muhammad A. Al Hawi, and my new connection on LinkedIn, Dr. Domain. It's really nice to see you both here. Thank you for joining in today's presentation. And I do hope that you find benefit from this of this type of a web stream. So let's see how a gossiper is affecting your life. Now, this is a quick 30-second video that I made, which will help you understand how a gossiper functions and how they can create toxicity in your life.
Hi, Megha.
Oh, hi,
Guess
Natalie.
what I just found out? I found out that Joanna hates her job. Can you imagine it? She just found her job last week and she already hates it. Anti-high pitch otherwise. I'm sure her colleagues find that annoying. You know what? Wait, listen. Every single day, Natalie comes in and gossips about her friends. Hate gossiping.
So this is how a gossiper is going to show themselves around you. So how do you deal with a gossip in case if this is a gossip about you? Well, first of all, I would highly recommend that you focus on yourself. You're going to feel a lot of negative emotions, especially when the gossip comes from a close friend. And I want you to relax your mind and think about your next steps, because it is very, very easy to go in a tit for tat mentality. So instead of trying to gossip about them, relax yourself and think what you're going to do. Your actions will definitely speak louder than your words. So once you indicate to the gossiper that you're not going to be partaking into the gossip, then let them know that you are not happy about it, and let them also know that you're aware that they're gossiping about you. And I want you to remember one thing: we all are part of gossip. I mean, who doesn't gossip, right? Every person is gossiping about something they find about somebody else. So I want you to remember this: you are never, ever alone in feeling this way, especially when you find out that you're being a targeted victim of gossip. Now, if you find that the gossiper is gossiping about somebody else, then, like I said, tell them to stop. Because if the gossip is making you uncomfortable, then it's not nice for you to have that conversation going forward. Be firm, be assertive, and drive them away from the conversation. Remember your values. Let the gossiper know that you're not interested in gossiping, because who knows, this person told this other person the thing in confidence and they're coming to you to gossip about. So remember what your values are during this time. Use a firm tone of voice when you're telling them that you're not interested in gossiping anymore. Now, consider this: is cutting ties an option? With a family member, it is not. We all know it's not possible to be away from somebody who's a family member and kind of, not engage with them. But what you could do is, if you know that this family member is going to be with you at a family get together or a social gathering, then try to stay away from them as much as possible. Have the least amount of interaction with this family member. Now, if this is a friend, then again, you have to value if this relationship is worth keeping. Because remember, you are going to find similar people in your life who will match your belief system. So, why focus on somebody who is not going to bring value to you? So, consider the option of cutting ties if it's a possibility. So let's see how we can deal with a gossiper using the same example.
Natalie, I'm going to stop you right there because it's not good to gossip about a friend and spread false rumors. We don't know what's happening at her job. So stop spreading false rumors.
So it's simple. If you're going to use a firm and assertive tone with these toxic people, the gossipers, you are going to see a difference. Either they're going to stop coming to you because they know you're not going to engage in the conversation, or they themselves might sever ties from you because they're not getting the validation that they're seeking. So this is how you deal with a gossiper when they are around you. Now, the next category are the temperamental people. Now, who are these temperamental people? Well, let's have a look before I give you an indication of what it looks like to be around them, or give you an insight.
Oh, hey, Becca. I am so angry. I can't believe I'm not getting the votes for the student election. I'm so sorry to hear that. What would you know of how it feels to lose a student election? I thought you didn't care about it that much. Of course I care about it. And what did you do as a friend? Huh? Nothing. You haven't supported me at all. Not at all. This is ridiculous. I mean, I'm not even responsible for her anger, and she keeps taking out her anger on me. I don't know what to do. I mean, she's just lashing out for no.
So you're always going to see that temperamental person is somebody who can get angry at the snap of your fingers. And it actually looks a lot like Becca. They might just suddenly show up at your doorstep and they might start, just telling things that are not even related to you. Now, it's very important to know that these people have big mood swings. And sometimes you're not sure who exactly has showed up at your doorstep. Now, a temperamental person loves to play the blame game, which means they will never take the responsibilities for their own action. Now, this is also a person who doesn't understand the trigger for their mood swing. So, even in the example that you just saw, Becca is getting angry at something that is not happening, a situation which is not under her control. But the anger is so strong that she is projecting it on to somebody else. And that is a key sign of a temperamental person. And that's how you distinguish if the toxic person around you is temperamental. So, how do you deal with somebody who's temperamental? Well, in these situations, maintain your stability and sanity. Don't let them affect your mood and pass their negativity onto you, which means you might feel like the urge to become angry at them and remind them that, it's not fair for them to get angry at you, but control those emotions. Because remember, tit for tat emotions never work in these situations. Be prepared. If you know that you're going to cross paths with them, again, anywhere, then know what their triggers are. Are you going to talk about them with something you know for a fact is going to trigger them? Or are you going to steer away from those trigger points and just stick to the daily talking points in their lives? Now, if there is a need for you to, voice your opinion, again, do it while being firm and assertive. And again, if you need to talk to them, be mindful of staying away from their trigger points, because they also require professional help. So it would never suggest to them that they need to get professional help, but remember yourself that they do require the help of a mental health professional, a counselor, a life coach, to understand why these mood swings are so quick. Why are they getting angry so fast? Because most of the time, the temperamental people have something in their past that makes their defense mechanisms go up really fast. So you're going to see the defense mechanism coming through to you as anger. So let's see how you can deal with somebody who is temperamental. It's just an example, but it will be helpful to see how you engage a person who is crossing boundaries a little bit.
Hold on a minute. Stop. Don't forget that I distributed the pamphlets and you were campaigning in the hallway. Alright? And I also posted on my social media. So don't you go around telling me that I did support you. That is not cool. I'm not responsible for you feeling anger towards Natalie. Stop.
Now, before we move forward, if you have any questions, please ask me in the chat and we will address them as soon as I finish this whole presentation. So let me know if you have any questions in the chat and I will make sure that I answer them. So moving forward, the next category is a person who is self-absorbed. Now, I'm going to show you another example of how this person looks like, but you should know that there's a difference between a person who is self-absorbed versus a person who is narcissistic. So we're going to talk about it after you have a look of how a self-absorbed person is.
Hi, Megha. Yes. What were you doing? Hi, Natalie. Oh, wait, never mind. I got something really important to tell you. I got accepted to Harvard. That's great. Well, I already knew I was going to get accepted to Harvard, with my 4.0 GPA and my extracurricular activities and even leading the student council presidency. Yeah, I knew I was going to get accepted. Hey, I wanted to tell you something too. Listen. And now, it's all about me. Always about her.
So with a self-absorbed person, you're always going to notice that they're always talking about themselves. And whenever you are looking to talk about yourself, they shut you down. So what are some of the characteristics of a self-absorbed person? They are the center of their worlds. Basically, the universe, the sun, everything rotates around them. You will somehow the world is better with them rather than with you. That's how the perception is. They will constantly interrupt you when you would like to talk about yourself, and they can talk about themselves for hours. So much so that at some point, even you would want to leave that conversation and go, but you cannot because it might feel rude. But in any case, they always showcase superiority and come off as being narcissistic. And here is where there's a slight distinction. Even though the self absorbed is always talking about themselves, they never as they never go out of their way to hurt or manipulate you in a way where you're not going to succeed, because for them their success matters more. Now, when you're with a narcissistic person, it differs, because a narcissistic person is trying to pull you down because they don't want to see you succeed. For them, taking you down matters more. So there is a slight distinction between a self absorbed person and a narcissistic person. So, how do you deal with them? How do you deal with a self absorbed person? Well, the best thing to do is assess their importance in your life. How important are they? Are they, what's the of their life, of them being in your life, and how long are you willing to put up to them? Are you willing to completely break away from this person? Because if they're not paying attention to you, then they're not paying attention to, it wouldn't matter, because for them you don't matter. So you have to always understand and ask yourself, is it just um oh, Roya is saying that you can't hear me. Can you hear me? Just if you can hear me, just give me a thumbs up in the chat. Yeah, I don't see. I can increase my volume. Does that sound better? I hope it does. Um, so I'm just trying to figure out if the streaming is still working. It's showing that it's working on my end. It's showing the volume is working on my end. Just give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me. That would be awesome. Thanks. All right, perfect. She can hear me. We're all good. All right. So, like I was saying, it's very important to understand if they are going to be a vital part of your life. How important are they to be? How important are they in your life? Because if they're not giving you the attention you deserve, and sometimes we want that attention, sometimes we want to know, we want to have that validation from others. So if the question arises, if is there a need for you to sever ties, then think about it. And I'll leave you with this quote, which I really like and I live by, is don't mourn their loss, celebrate your appearance. Because it's about finding yourself amongst these toxic people who try to put you down in many different ways. So assess this relationship, see how important it is in your life, and then learn from your experience. Learn to move forward and find out if, it will be a learning experience in terms of you realizing which people to keep around you and who not to keep around you. So moving on, I wanted to show you what exactly happened when the decision was made to not have this person around in my life. So as you can see, you are most logically going to see somebody leave you and move forward in their lives because they're not getting the attention they want. And that is a critical sign of a self-absorbed person. So moving on, I like a new category of toxic people, which I call the dementors. And I get this reference from the Harry Potter movies, if you've seen them. So in the Harry Potter movie series, the dementors are somebody who can suck the energy out of room. They sort of kill everything around them. And this toxic person is very similar. When they are around you, you feel as if your energies are just getting sucked right out of you. So I'm going to give you an example of how this actually feels like.
This world and people in it are weird. I mean, am I really happy or am I pretending to be happy? I mean, what is the point of all this? You know, the planet is dying, like really dying. Oh, look at you, so pretty and naive. You don't know anything about life. The dementor.
So that's how a dementor feels like. They're always finding something negative and they will come to you with this negativity. And like I said, they make you feel less worthy because for them, everything is negative. even they feel low about themselves. So they make sure that you also feel low about yourself. And their views of the world come from a traumatic past. So remember, just because they're sucking the energy out of you and they're demanding your attention, it's very important to know that the dementors have never had a good experience in their life, so to speak, because everything is looked at from a negative mindset. They will not listen to anything positive you have to say. So never even try talking to them with anything positive, because they will shut you down right away. Remember, they have come prepared. They have read everything. And it's kind of like a bias where they are only looking for information which is negative, even if it's from a positive standpoint. So never ever kind of go about trying to get a dementor person to move over into a positive mindset, because they're not going to do it. And you will only feel drained, which means as much as you will try, you will keep going in circles and circles with them. So with a dementor, be mindful and stand guard, because you don't want to engage with conversations with them, but at the same time you don't want to kind of urge them on, so they're constantly getting you into conversations which are not going to prove beneficial to you. So how do you deal with these people? It's all about one question: do you really want to deal with them? And remember, these are toxic people in your life, so you are always asking the question, how long are you going to keep them? Now, if somebody's sucking the energy right out of you and then you're fearing the person even before they're coming, then that begs the question, how long are you going to deal with them? So the next thing is to familiarize yourself with their thought processes, because most of the time you're aware that this person is going to probably talk about something negative. So try and steer the conversation away as much as you can, because wherever you steer it, they are going to make it more negative. So keep steering it till the time they kind of say, it's okay, I think I'm going to go now, kind of a scenario. So dealing with them always requires you to be more aware of where they're coming from, and kind of also asking yourself how long you're going to let somebody take advantage of you. So these toxic people, ask yourself a question. How long am I going to have them? How long am I going to put up with it? So dementors are not easy to deal with. Unfortunately, I don't have a video to showcase how to deal with them, because I wasn't able to make that one in time. But I hope the message came across that dealing with the dementor requires you to keep asking yourself a question of how much negativity are you going to allow within yourself? Because remember, our energies change with the people around us. So we have to be mindful about who we keep close to us and who we keep far away from us. Now, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to leave a comment or leave it in the comment section. I will answer all your questions as soon as this is over, or I will answer it during the presentation. So moving forward, the next category of the people who are all around us are the envious and the jealous. And let's see how an envious person is going to behave.
Megha's YouTube channel. I mean, she's created all these alter egos and she's not too bad in acting. I mean, look at how big her subscriber base is becoming. I mean, she's not too bad. Oh, wait, she's calling. Hey, Natalie. How's it going? How are things? Yeah, hey, I was looking at your YouTube channel. Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, do you really think it's the right path for you? I mean,
So, with an envious person, you're always going to have them question your success. And that is the first sign that you're dealing with somebody who is not happy with where they see your life heading. Now, envy is the strongest of the negative emotions that you can experience, because it makes you feel uncomfortable. And that's the truth. You can sense envy and you can sense jealousy. Now, I want to make one distinction. Envy is an emotion which is felt towards the person, and jealousy is an emotion which is felt towards the things and the people that they are around. So envy is towards you specifically, jealousy is towards material things and the people you surround yourself with. And both do overlap and they do go interchangeably in terms, but envy is something different because this one is targeted more towards you. And they can make you feel as if your success doesn't matter. No matter how hard they know you've worked for it, they'll make it seem that your success is doesn't matter. And they will question it and they will ask you constantly, are you happy with what you're doing? Are you sure this is the right path? Are you sure you're making the right decision in your life? So be aware of this person. If you're constantly getting asked these questions, it's because they are feeling envy towards you. And guess what? At some point, you're also going to see them copy what you are doing, which means they might do the same thing. They might start wearing the same, maybe clothes as you, behaving the same way as you, because they're trying to mimic everything that you're doing. So that is a specific characteristic of an envious person. And one other thing I want you to be mindful about is they're going to create self doubt. So when you see somebody who is trying to make you feel that, maybe you shouldn't be doing this or maybe you shouldn't be doing that, then that is a person that you have to consider if they have if they have the best interests for you in their hearts, because if they do, then they wouldn't be creating self doubt, right? So how do you deal with them? Never ever apologize for your success, because you know how hard you've worked for it. You know the countless hours you've put in. So never ever apologize for your success to anyone. Anyone, period. Remind the person that you have worked hard for where you are at and you continuously are working hard to achieve whatever it is you're achieving. Never retaliate or ridicule the person, because if they are coming and they're attacking you, the obvious reaction is to react back to them in a negative way and calling them out on their shortcomings. So never ever do that, because then there's no difference between you and your behavior and their behavior. So keep your emotions in check, because you never know how that anger is going to backfire, and you don't want to feel guilt afterwards. So keep it in check, do what it is you're doing, and again, like any other toxic person, ask yourself, is it worth having this relationship? Because an envious person is always going to create self doubt. So ask yourself constantly, who are these people that are making me feel doubt in myself, and what can I do to keep them away from me? So critical questions always around toxic people is, how long are you going to allow them to control what you are doing? So let's see how I deal with a person who is envious.
Is everything okay, Natalie? You don't sound too happy. I mean, I just wanted to let you know that there's actually a lot of hard work that goes into making these videos. It's taking me so long to get here. So I thought you would sound a bit happier. Are you not happy? Thank God, Natalie unfriended me on Facebook. I didn't need that negativity in my life.
So don't be surprised if the envious person realizes that they're not going anywhere with you. So you might see them automatically get flushed out of your life. And like I said, don't mourn their loss, celebrate your appearance, because it's good that they're taking their envy to somebody else. Well, it's not good, but it's not, you are no longer the target of that envy. So you, if they leave, don't feel bad, because you will find somebody who will uplift you in many more different ways. Now, this is a category that I'm sure a lot of you have come across, the manipulators. The manipulators are ones that get you to do their bidding, so to speak. You will see that your decisions are always affected by their thinking. So let's see how this plays out.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, listen, do you want to go out for dinner? That's a wonderful idea. Let's go to the Mexican place.
Nah, let's not do the Mexican place. I mean, it's horrible. You remember you got a stomachache there? How about we go to the Italian pizza place instead?
I don't want to go to the pizza place. We went there last week.
Come on, Megha. You like pizza. Let's go there.
I got suckered into going into her same place again.
Let's go there. You'll
I wish I
enjoy
could.
this. So, I hope you got an understanding of how manipulators work. They will make you do whatever it is that they want, and they do it very subtly as well. You will never ever, you will start feeling that they're having the governing decisions in your life, but initially it's going to be very subtle, small decisions. Now, how do you know you are dealing with a manipulator? They will guilt you. If you don't do it, you are going to hear them say, "Aw, you don't like me," or "never do anything with me," kind of words coming out from them. So they will guilt you into doing their bidding. So I see a new person who's joined. Hi, good morning, Abdul Aziz. Really, really nice to see you here. Thank you for joining today. And I do hope you find benefit from this presentation. So as I was saying, it might seem that a lot of times that the manipulator has the best interest in in for you in their hearts, but in actuality whatever decision you're making is actually only benefiting them in the end. They will also know how to push your buttons. If it is somebody close, they will know exactly what to say to get you to do what they want. And you will realize it sooner that it is happening and you are getting manipulated into doing whatever they want. So be aware of somebody constantly telling you what you need to do, right? Because at some point you're going to realize, I know what's best for me. They might act like they're helping you, but in reality, they are not. The manipulators are never ever helping you achieve anything. They're always trying to do something that, again, is beneficial to them in the long run. And they try to one up you always. They're anticipating what you're going to say. So they are ready with a response. So even if you say, no, I don't feel like it, they're like, oh, it's going to be good for you. You should try it. That's how a person is manipulating you, because they make you feel that that decision is somehow going to be good for you. Maybe it is, who knows, down the line, right? But most of the times it's not. So those are some of the characteristics of a manipulative person. So how do you deal with them? Well, I like to say delete them permanently from your life, because being manipulated is not a good feeling. And I'll tell you why. Because it takes a big, big toll on your confidence and your self esteem. You start to question yourself if what you were doing, can you do it? Are you capable of doing it? So those questions start to arise, affecting your confidence in yourself. So, do you need that in your life? Probably not. Stand your ground with the manipulators, because they will try to manipulate you even when you know that you're standing up for yourself. They know you're standing up for yourself, so they are going to manipulate you again through guilt tripping you. They will bring guilt as a factor, and they'll probably say, hey, do you want me to feel sad? I mean, I will feel sad. So they will guilt you into their negative emotions. Don't fall for it. Be firm and assertive when you're trying to communicate your needs to them. And one thing is certain, a no means no. So if you are saying no to them, they have to understand that it's not going to happen, and stand your ground, because that's the hardest part. Sometimes it might seem easier to give in to that urge of stopping the manipulator from constantly bothering you, but no means no. It's what I like to call the broken record method. Keep saying no. They say it again, say no. Till finally they understand that you are saying no and they will stop. So create healthy boundaries, because their actions should also have consequences. Create boundaries with them. Now let's see how we can deal with the manipulator through the example I give you.
Hey, the stomach ache, it was Natalie. You got both of us confused. Or trying to get me confused. Nice try. But I do not want to go to the pizza place. How about we go to the Indian place? Because I know you like Indian food, and I like Indian food, and it's going to be perfect. I don't like that place. It makes me feel sad. Do you want me to feel sad? Do you? Do you want me to feel really sad? No, I do not want you to feel sad. But how about we do this? Both of us go into a food place that we know we both like.
So when you are going to try and get your words across, that's what I mean when I say create healthy boundaries. The moment you do that is the moment you're going to realize that either the manipulator is going to stick around or the manipulator is going to find somebody else to kind of, have find somebody else to manipulate. Let's put it that way. So stand your ground, be mindful, create boundaries, do not do tit for tat behavior. That doesn't work. So with a manipulator, always try to remove them from your life because you do not want self doubt and your confidence to get affected. Now, the next category and the final one that I kind of thought of was the victim. And like I mentioned in the beginning of this live stream, was the person that I'm talking about here, that is the person that comes from the victim mindset. It's very different from somebody who's gone through trauma or abuse. Those are actual victims, and whatever their thought processes are very much different from somebody who lives with the victim mindset mentality. So I wanted to make that thing absolutely clear. This person is the toxic person in your life who doesn't want to take any responsibility for their actions. So how would this person look like? Let's take a quick look.
Hi Natalie, how's it going? Yeah, you won't believe what happened. Becca just blasted me for no reason. Oh. I mean, she got mad at me. What happened between you and Becca? I only told her that she should not have two ponytails. Wait, you told her that she doesn't look nice? I was just helping her out. Like, those two ponytails don't make her look nice. And she thinks that it's my fault. Always the victim. Always. She knows she did something wrong, but she's always the victim.
So in this scenario, this person actually has two toxic personalities within them: the gossiper, the manipulator, actually three, and the victim. So how do you know if you're dealing with a person who is always in the victim mentality? You're going to always hear them say, "It's not my fault." That's the biggest one. Nothing is ever their fault. You're going to hear them say, "The world is against me. They don't want me to succeed." And there's, "I can't do anything to help myself. There's nothing. I can't do anything. I don't have any choice to do anything." So that is a victim mentality. They avoid responsibility for all of their actions and they forget that their actions have consequences. So when they're coming to you, they're actually trying to let you know that their consequences somehow affected them versus their consequences for whatever action they did has actually impacted somebody else's life. But they will come to you with a victim mindset, looking for empathy and maybe a little bit of sympathy as well. Now, they also come from a place where they'll make you feel as if they're powerless, like nothing that ever happens is their fault. They'll have a helplessness nature. They'll be like, "Oh, this never happened. I didn't mean for it to happen. Now, what can I do?" But in reality, they know that they could have made a different choice, but they didn't. So you're looking at a person who comes from powerlessness. They feel powerless, they feel helpless. So be aware of that. A person who's constantly telling you that whatever they're doing, it's not their fault, is actually trying to gain attention from you specifically to uplift their spirits. So you're like their self-esteem confidence booster. Now, how long are you going to let somebody be the victim personality? Because at some point, you're going to realize that whatever they're saying or doing is actually not matching up with their actions. So be mindful of how the victim mindset is actually affecting you, because like a dementor, they can drain your energies. So I want you to remember one factor. They're coming from a place where uh, they might have felt threatened at some point. So their victim mindset has come where they're trying to protect themselves and their defenses are always up. So never blame a person who's coming from a victim mindset. You have to remember that they require professional help, and maybe a mental health counselor or a life coach can help them figure out why it is that they have gone into this victim mindset. So, how can you support them? Be mindful of how you communicate with them. You don't want to enable their behaviors. You can call them out and let them know that what their behavior, what their action was, did have a consequence on somebody else, and it affected the somebody else. So whatever they did, that situation had some sort of a result which wasn't impactful in anybody's life. So providing solutions sometimes may work, sometimes may not work. So understand how you're going to deal with them. Never judge them. So I'm going to let you know that never judge a person coming from a victim mindset. In the example in the video I'm going to show you, I do use a firm and assertive tone. I do call out the victim mindset individual, but I do it in a way where I'm assuming that the person knows that they've done something wrong. So let's have a look.
I mean, I was just helping her out. No, don't interrupt me, Natalie. Now, I want you to really listen. You cannot go around telling people that they don't look nice. We talked about this last week when you went and told Joanna that her hair doesn't look nice. You can't tell people things and not have repercussions. You need to go and apologize to Becca. Yeah.
So even though you're trying to help them, be mindful they might not actually do it. So they might keep repeating their behaviors, and like I said, they need professional help. Don't suggest it to them, because they will become very defensive and let you know that you're not understanding of wherever they're coming from. It is probably somebody who's going to be very, very close to them that has to tell them that you do need to go see somebody and understand why your defenses go up. If you are that person, then I do suggest you suggest it slightly to them and see how they are reacting, and then move back from it. So I wanted to end this presentation with something that I found online, which I felt was perfect to dealing with toxic people. And that was said by Mahatma Gandhi. And it was, I will not let anyone walk through my mind with their dirty feet. All toxic people around you are trying to affect you in some way or another. So always be mindful, always be aware of the people around you. And I am sure a lot of you who are connections with me on LinkedIn know that I post about this a lot. We don't need 10,000 people around us metaphorically to make us feel good. We only need maybe a handful of people that we fully rely on to uplift us, to support us, to be our here, somebody who listens to us. So be mindful of who you keep close to you, because at any given day, any given time, there are people ready to get to kind of influence who you are. So I do hope you found benefit from this presentation today about how to deal with toxic people. I am just going to make this bigger for 1 second, because next time when I come on live, I am going to have a very valuable LinkedIn connection with me, Prajesh Channabai, who is going to be my first guest. He is going to talk about what it is to expect when you go into a university. It is for all you parents out there or new students who are either exiting the university or who are entering university, and what to expect. So next episode, we're going to have a guest on. And if you're interested in being a guest on my show, then please DM me and we'll figure something out, figure out a date, and I'll be happy to have you as a guest. Um, so join me for that session because it's going to be really interesting with a lot of perspective given on what as parents you can look out for as the stressors in your children. What can the young adults kind of look out for in terms of expectations in universities. So it's going to be a really good show, and I do suggest you join. It's going to be on March 3rd. Time I will post on LinkedIn because we're trying to figure out a time which is convenient for everyone. So um, watch out for that live. So I thank all of you for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you found benefit from it. Let me know. Please DM me if you're on LinkedIn. If you've joined from YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, leave me a message. Let me know what you found beneficial, and I will highly appreciate any feedback you have. Now, I wanted to let you know that after the guest live, I will be doing a live on the influencers of your life. Who are the people that influence you, and how do they do it? Similar to your toxic people, but this is slightly different. So I look forward to seeing you here March 3rd with our special guest, Brajesh Channabai. In the meantime, have a wonderful day, evening, and wishing you all a very good night. Bye bye.